G'day guys. Hey, today we've got something really exciting. Today we're going to kick off a new series that's focusing on urban gardening. Now, why urban gardening? Well, if you've got small spaces or your crops are getting eaten by a lot of pests or disease, then you might want to consider urban gardening as a choice for you. And we've got some videos in this series that will help you know all about it, and we can test out new experiments. G'day, my name's Paul Greenbauer and I'm from Vic Greener Farms, and in this video we're going to be focusing on leafy vegetable crops and can we plant these in an urban garden environment using potted containers. What we're going to be focusing on is potting up some leafy greens so that we can consume them in this urban environment. This is just on our veranda because it's way too hot outside in the middle of summer to be growing leafy greens. We're going to focus on things like lettuces, broccolini maybe. So some of these small crops that have one or two picks in them, and then they're basically a replant job again. Okay, so we're not talking about things like, you know, these tomatoes here. What we're actually looking for, like these little rockets, for example, they grow really well. This is broccolini over here, so we want to make these so that they can actually live a little bit longer, grow a little bit larger in this urban environment. We can grow them as seedlings, and that's the seedling mix, but they get to a point where they've outgrown that seedling mix. So what we want to do is make up a mix or a way that we can pot these seedlings so that they can continue to grow and produce for us in this nice urban environment, just on our veranda, and live quite happily. Okay, so let's get started. First thing we need to start thinking about is pots. So there's different shaped pots. There's tall, skinny ones, flat, square ones, round ones. Now, the main difference that we have here is, of course, if you compare the two, the tall, skinny variety is often for more plants that like a drier type environment. You can imagine if you're watering down the bottom, then it's going to be more moist down the bottom and a lot drier up the top. So if you have particularly seedlings or plants that you're trying to plant that like a drier environment, a taller, skinnier pot is what you're looking for. This pot is actually for a native plant in Australia. They like it dry. Now, of course, leafy greens, vegetables, they like a bit more moisture. So we're running this sort of pot. Imagine we're going to bottom water this, and the roots will have nice access to nice moist soil as they go through. And of course, it's going to wick up a little bit through our seed raising mix as well that we put in the center. So that'll work really well for us. These are about, I don't know, 10 centimeters by 8 centimeters, if you can imagine that. They do fit really nicely in the tray that we're going to use. So we're going to use this tray. And of course, we're just going to pull that out, bottom water it, and then put our plant back in there. And that's how we're going to keep them maintained for a few days at least with their watering requirements. Now, some of the things you'll need, of course, are a pen. Now, what the pen's for, as you just saw me do, is to push through the seed raising mix that you put in the pipe. Now, this pipe will go in the middle of our tray, just like so. What we're going to do is put seed raising mix in the middle of the pipe, and around the outside we'll just put our normal potting mix. This can be compost if you've got compost ideally, or it can just be normal potting mix that you just get in a bag from your big hardware store, the likes. So to start off with, we're just going to hold the center in there, and we'll just put a bit of potting mix around there just to help stabilize it all. It's quite easy to do. So it'll end up looking a bit like that. And of course, there's nothing in the middle here. What we're going to do is fill up that middle with the seed raising mix. And if you like, we do have a video on the seed raising mix on how we made this. So check out just in the link above. And we're just popping in some seed raising mix. Scrape off the top there a bit. So we've got seed raising mix in here. Now go and raid your kids' stationery on their desk, find a big fat pen because it fits really well in there. And what we want to do is, as we pull the top up, we want to push all the seed raising mix back down so it stays at the bottom. Now effectively what we have, we've got a bit of seed raising mix over the top, but that's okay. In the center of this is the actual seed raising mix that goes all the way down to the bottom, where it'll seep up and around the outside we have our potting mix. Now the idea is once we plant our seed in here, it will have all the right requirements to grow as a seed, and then eventually the roots, as they get bigger, will grow out into all the potting mix or compost that you have around the outside and get all of its nutrients to grow bigger and stronger, and then you'll be able to harvest these plants really rapidly. So that's the idea. We'll put them in there. We'll just plonk our seeds in there. Obviously we just need to repeat it another 11 times, but that's okay. It's a nice lovely day here. And just remember, things you need, just some pots. You probably already have these. They can be round pots like these. It doesn't really matter. I just chose square because they fit within our things. Bit of pipe. Now this could be just a dunny roll or toilet roll, used toilet roll, the cardboard inside bit, that would work ideal. And just something to poke it through. If your finger's long enough, you can poke it down with your finger. Just the pen worked really well for me. So there you have it. Please make sure you subscribe. We're an early channel. It really does help us a lot. If you have any other video suggestions on what you'd like us to cover in this urban garden sense, then we'd be more than happy to do those for you. Please leave some comments below. Don't forget to tick the like button, subscribe, you know the drill. And go out there, give it a go. We just put these on here, we just get some morning sun, and they grow really, really well. And there's no bugs, there's no pests. It's an ideal urban gardening environment, so you can get some luscious green vegetables. Go out there, give it a go, and you have a great day. See ya, bye.